Hey everyone, Derrick Hines here. Welcome to the podcast where I'll share with you the patterns, insights, research, and technologies that we use in my own pain and performance practice to help people improve their health, speed their healing, and increase their longevity. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoy it.
All right, Jerzy Gregorek, welcome to the Pain and Performance Podcast.
Thank you, Derrick. I appreciate.
My full disclosure, I started to tell you, but I'll wait. When I started this podcast during COVID, and I was talking with friends, and they were like, "What is it for?" And I was like, first and foremost, it's an avenue for me to get kind of life improvement, health improvement, information, and hopefully motivation into listeners where they can actually take some action on good information. And he was like, well, are you going to be bringing people on? Who do you want to talk to? And the thing that initially jumped out, I was like, I need a list of like kind of, dream guests that I would have on. And I had been following your work for a while. So on our first list of about 50 kind of dream guests, Jerzy Gregorek is on that list from 5 years ago, and here we are, 5 years in the making.
Yeah,
we got you on the show, so I'm really excited to dive into some of this stuff. So thank you for all that you do and everything that you've done to help everybody improve their health, their habits, their life over the years. I really appreciate it.
yeah, thank you. I remember COVID, I was doing the daily routine that was into the cave, we call it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was appearing and helping people every day. I was with them every day for about 3 years. And then I called it Hard Choices in Life, and week by week and year by year. But, one thing really struck me that when you work with people and they overcome certain hardship, they become the healing. They become that journey. It's like teaching people how to fish. You cannot really from the COVID, you can give them vaccination and they saved you. But if you are an alcoholic, it's not going to happen. You have to save yourself. You have to go through the system. So the same with chronic illnesses, lifestyle problems, and so on. That people have to go through the journey and become this healing or become coaches. And so it's interesting that you were actually for people during the COVID, helping them to really build themselves, right?
I think it's one of the skills that humans need the most, right? Is like, if we can teach you how to overcome challenges, that opens up so much for you in life. And that is one of the major tenets of having a successful life to me, is how you overcome challenges. We're all going to have them. How do you have the confidence, the knowledge, the skill, and the perseverance to overcome them when they hit is where, you probably start to separate people out in kind of whatever your definition of a successful life versus a really challenging life.
It's huge, but everyone can actually gain that skill. I don't know if you saw the movie Stand and Deliver about the teacher in East LA, and then he came to the high school in 80s, and it's East LA, and then it was like impossible for kids to even learn simple mathematics. And he, after 2.5 years, prepared these kids for calculus. It was impossible. He did something that it gives me goosebumps. Like that in life. It's a jewel. It's a mentor. It's a jewel. It's somebody that does this teaching how to fish. And, we have a lot of heroes, saving us, heroes and heroes everywhere and so on. But we don't profit from it at all. We are not becoming better because somebody saved us. But if we save ourselves, that is when we learn the skills of better living.
Yeah. I wanted to dive into the topic right away because I feel like this is something that we all need more now. Like your is like hard choices, easy life. I want to unpack this. Easy choices, hard life. That has resonated with me for so many years, and like there's so much that I just like go back to. I feel like so many people state like, you gotta know your why, have these big goals, and you gotta do all this stuff. And I'm like, that's great, but that doesn't get to the idea of hard choices leading to an easy life, easy choices leading to a hard life. Can we just like take that phrase and unpack that for a little while?
Yeah, I can unpack it from one perspective, and because there are many perspectives that you can talk about it. But for me, is hard choice is a engaging of the 10% compound interest. So to understand that it happens in athletics, it happens in business, it happens everywhere. But to understand that, let's think about a person that saves $5 a day for 40 years. And after 40 years, accumulated 72,000. And then 72,000 after 40 years, the value of it, of course, is probably 15,000 or 20,000. But if that person invests this money for 10%, that person gets almost $1 million after this 40 years. So how to really have the 10%, because that's what's about. So the hard choices is to create this 10% compound interest in your life. But for that, it's not easy because 10% is dangerous, right? You lose money. Or you can get injured. And there are a lot of obstacles on the way. That's why we need coaches, we need mentors, we need investors that help us to invest our money. So we don't do all by ourselves, because by ourselves, usually it ends up that we want to, engage 10%, but we end up with 20 or 30% and then crash because it's too fast. So we don't create these reserves. Or we just live our life without 10%, and we just kind of go lucky, go with life without any improvement and effort to put into growth, to put into the creation, innovation. And, it's like learning how to fish is something that comes with skills, with if the ways, understanding it, accumulation data, and so on. So it's a journey that we need to be on in order to comprehend and understand it and experience it.
I wonder if, like, for most of human history, I think survival has been really hard on its own. It's only been like recent years that survival has gotten much, much. So we have to like consciously now make the harder choice, where maybe like, hundreds of years ago, our human like biology was geared to like try to find the easier avenue. And now like that's almost given to us, I mean, you can pretty much live your life on your couch these days, and food's delivered to you and stuff's delivered to you, and you don't really have to do any hard things to live anymore. And so like now it's almost the flip of what I think our was, where it's like, now everything is easy. Survival is very easy. So you have to consciously go kind of find the choices and consciously make the hard choice. What do you think about that?
Well, it comes with living too long. So we were dying, in 50s and 60s, so we didn't have even a chance to reflect on our life. Mm-hmm. So, and didn't have even chance to understand aging. It just was happening very fast. And now, since we live until 80 or 90, 100, some people, then we start really seeing that what really happens in the body, what is the aging, what is longevity. And we start understanding how the body deteriorates. And since really we see it, then we try to actually cope with it. And in 1960, there was this doctor who did the research and then found out that everything shrinks in the body system when we get older. So what shrinks? The brain shrinks, the lungs shrink, heart shrink. It was
Muscles.
really a revelation for me when I read the article. It's just like, wow, because I'm in PhD program now and a lot of research, and then found that one, and that really struck me. Everything shrinks, and they call it senile atrophy. Senile atrophy was the name for shrinking during the aging period. People didn't like the senile, so he changed to sarcopenia. And the sarcopenia is the muscle loss, but it doesn't tell us that our brain shrinks too, and our lungs and so on. So when I think about life and think about shrinking, it frightens me, holy moly, everything shrinks in my body. So I'm thinking about, okay, I understand now why. So what can I do with that, right?
Yeah.
How I can prolong the shrinking or stop the shrinking, or can I do even more, right? So that was the question that we tried to answer in the Happy Body program: how to age, how to deal with the devastating process of aging.
Yeah, I have a patient who is 92 now. He might be 93, who still plays golf 3 times a week, still works out 6 days a week. And I was asking him,
Amazing.
I'm like, it's incredible. I was like, so what, give me your secret, right? And he was saying that when he turned 50, he kind of like semi retired, like backed off of work a little bit. And he was like, I'm going to have all this extra time that I get to play golf and do all these things. And he was like, I found out really quickly that if I didn't use half of my extra time to work out and stay healthy, that I got injured really quickly. And so he was like, then fast forward to my mid 60s, he was like, I realized that I pulled back work even more. I had to use 2/3 of my extra time to work out and stay healthy so that I can play and enjoy things. He was like, now I'm 92 and I use 92% of my time to work out, work on balance, work on strength. And that lets me play like 3 or 4 golf games a week and still lets me travel. And he was like, my friends tell me how lucky I am. And he's like, look, I've worked my butt off for this. And so he's like, I need to get him on here actually. He's like, and this was him, like he finishes telling me that story. And he was like, my friends are all too comfortable. So they don't like being uncomfortable anymore. And so they lose their ability to be uncomfortable. And like this goes to your hard choices, kind of easy life. Like he's still making hard choices at 92 to go work out, to kind of get uncomfortable. And that gives him this freedom to be traveling and playing golf and stuff like that. So his pitch is the reason that we shrink and the reason we lose mobility is because we kind of start, as we age, we start leaning into comfort. We start leaning into those easy choices because we've it, so to speak. Now this is him saying that. I don't know if everybody buys into that, but do you think there is some of that where like, hey, I'm 70 now. I can start to kind of make my easier choices. I can start living my easier life. But how long into making those easier choices do I start to give myself a harder life?
Well, it's mental mindset. In the 50 years ago, 100 years ago, we were thinking about retirement and dreaming about it. So that was the way. And today is not so much the way, it's a little shifting and changing. And the retirement is like, for me, like tired again. So I don't want to get tired again.
No.
So, doing something that is not, I tell always everyone that I will never retire. And it's a wisdom thing. It is not really that I have money or I don't have money. It's the wisdom that you have to kind of live the life that you constantly solve problems. And that's the 10% for the brain. And Elon Musk was talking how he was hiring people. And he said, I asked somebody to tell me about the problem and how that person overcame the problem. So the person said the problem, but it was vague in how the solution was. So I got deeper into it and asked about details and how it was. And he said, when I get details, when I get the story, then I had a person in front of me that experienced it, actually found a solution, and it's valuable for me. But if that person didn't have details, didn't have those things, it means that the person was lying. There is no reason for that person to solution. Solution is interesting because it's a hard choice, already finding the solution every time in life, whatever we do. And this solution is in front of us all the time on daily basis. We need to decide, we need to make choices. And then when the solution comes in, the solution is wearing us out. It's a control battery that when the solution is asking for effort and we are tired, we don't want to do it, and we have a different dreams about how to live life. So the wisdom of dealing with aging and dealing with the easy choices is that we are flipping the society into the society of loving hard choices. And many more and more of us like that way of living. Kennedy said in the movie that we do these things because they are hard, not because they are easy. So it means that we choose the hard choices to get better. It's supposed to be hard. And if it's easy, I tell my clients, I run away from it. Easy for me is repeating something. It's like a monkey. I don't need to know again that 2 + 2 is 4. It's done, right? So I'm looking for something that I don't know. And I'm looking for something it is hard for me to do. And that's what athletics, the whole and business is. Creating companies is always hard. It's always difficult. It was always the progress and so on. How you can apply to daily living of a person, independence? Well, that is a $1 question, right? How to do it? It has to be comfortable. You see, I have a doctor here, a client who said, the brilliance of what you do here is that you make people comfortable in uncomfortable places.
Yeah.
And that's needed.
Yeah.
But really,
Massive.
how to do it, that's where micro progression comes in. That's where how we start mentors and coaches. They start with people in a place where they the process. And that
Have
is
you
an amazing thing.
have you always had the discipline to make the hard choices? Do you think that's like, has that something that has been in your life since you were young? Did you have to develop the ability to lean into those hard choices?
No, I was an alcoholic when I was 15 years old, so I fell into darkness, and easy choices were all there. And I was saved. I didn't save myself, but when I come out of alcoholism, I also gained something. I gained this healing coming out of addiction. And I can relate to my clients that they are addicts, and overeating is not a different addiction. It's even maybe harder overeating than alcoholism, because you have to gain the control. Food cannot really stop, but with alcohol you can stop. So it's a process of living the life, hard choices. After when I came out of alcoholism, I was 19 years old. my friends who were in high school, because I of high school, my friends were already in medical schools. And I needed to go now to high school and go through high school and maybe catch up with something, never catch up because they are already there. So I got really greedy for education. I mean, really greedy. So I started reading and educating myself and it's always a hard choice when it comes to education, that you want to learn something. Is it can be pleasurable, it's really hard. So I never stopped. When I went to a bookstore, I always came out with books and love books. And Anila Anila was laughing because when we went into the bookstore, she said, okay, I'm gone. It will be in 1 hour or two, because I was just there. So we need to wake up in ourselves this love something, this greed, for to overcome, to gain something, to and it could be that when we cannot wait to fight anymore or run away, and the flight and fight response is not there, we are frozen in life. We really need help.
Yeah.
We either need help of hearing this podcast, or we need we need mentors, or we need to reach somewhere for community that people are there and they are dealing with hard choices. And one of these I really like is dance. Go and dance, right? Dance is a hard choice. We started dancing a bit in like before COVID, and the COVID hit, and we are back now. So we dance rumba and swing and all these dances, but they are so hard.
Yeah.
Everything to remember. I come back and I said, wow, I forgot. And, forgot again, forget. But, I tell the teachers, just go with us, we'll just get there. And slowly, everything becomes easier, right? But there's a lot of hard choices before that you have to go, you have to pay, you have to be okay that you are stupid and dumb and you don't remember. And you have to somehow go through it. And then eventually, slowly, this dancing becomes the joy. I realized that I never danced in my life. I was jumping, moving, but I didn't know where to put my feet. And I was not conscious at all about it.
Yeah.
So now I'm in position of the leader, right? And I don't like it, because I would like to be lead and not to remember all these things. But now I have to learn where to put the feet, where to put my hand, how to give the sign for the turn. Wow. And the thing is that teachers are wonderful. They're really great people. They love what they do. So you are around this environment. And one thing more happened to me, that I wanted always, dance with a beautiful girl, right? But I was not dancing. But now I dance with everybody, and I'm not really. I really who is really there on the other side. There's a man, there's a woman, there's a overweight, not overweight, old, young. Really doesn't matter, because I am connected to dance,
Yeah.
and that's really beautiful.
I have two things I have to tell you on that. One is like you're focused on the process of dance. I know I'm like extrapolating that, but you're like, whereas maybe when we're younger, we're focused on the outcome. If I can dance with a beautiful woman, there might be an outcome on the end of that. So like there's something beautiful in that, of like when you focus on the process, the outcome kind of takes care of itself, and that might open some different avenues. But I have to tell you, I went to a business seminar. This is years ago, and I'm in this room with like 100 of some of the nation's like most powerful business people. Like some of these are like huge companies, big authors, names that a lot of people know. And at some point in this conference, they bring in a guy and they move all the chairs out. And they're like, okay, for the next hour, we're going to pull people up in the middle and dance. And you've never seen more powerful people tuck their tail between their leg and like retreat to the back of the room. It was like the great equalizer. Like the most confident, verbose guys that were like, yes, I can tackle the world. And then they were like, all right, come up here and dance. And all that confidence just fell out of them. We were like, this is so, like, there's a life lesson in this that's very powerful somehow.
I have this Nobel Prize winners that come to my place to learn, and they always say the same thing. I am really great in everything, but this. I said, well, yeah, you don't have Nobel Prize in that. I have. So I'm a coach here. I am the one that, walked that journey. And that's why you need the mentor for it. Why you would think that you know how to exercise, right? To exercise, if I give people exercises, I put some numbers there, it means those numbers are there after 50 years of experience. So that's, Picasso was, in the cafe when he was drawing something on a napkin. When he was leaving, a woman came to him and said, Master, can I have the napkin? And he said, sure, of course, $20,000. And she said, $20,000 for 5 minutes of dribbling or drawing? And he said, it's not 5 minutes, drew that. It's 60 years of my life, drew that.
Yeah.
Right. So this is that we, if we are smart and we are wise, we ask for help and we ask for mentors. This is the beginning of the story of hard choices. There is no way for us to really get into hard choices without it. If we go to schools, the hard choices are provided by the system, but we are not in a school, in living our own life, in our own house. We really need something. There's somebody, some kind of system helping us to improve, to pick up the hard choice, to build the routine, daily routine, implants those hard choices.
Yeah. How do we do that? Like you mentioned micro progressions, but like I'll tell you, many of my patients that struggle with health or struggle with eating or weight loss, that struggle with pain, a lot of them will tell me like, look, I can't get over the hump to build the discipline to, go work out every morning or to say no to the sweets when I'm offered. Like, can we build that ability to make the hard choice, and how do we do that?
Sure, we can build the ability. It's just it's in life, but the journey begins with either mentor or the habits and daily routine. So if you want something and you're alone in life, you cannot reach for help, you can start with the daily routine. Let's say in a daily routine, you eat the sweets at 2 p.m. and how much of the sweets you eat. And then in the routine, right, okay, I have 3 chocolates that I eat, the pieces of chocolate and at 2 p.m. And I will eat the 3 pieces of chocolates for 1 week and every day. And then I will eat 2.5 the next week and 2. So progression is in action here. And slowly, if you have the routine, the conscious, like you said, about living conscious life, yes, we need to be cognitive about what we do and how we live. But it's really hard. The self-control is a battery, so it drains throughout the day. So the routine, I have a routine. I go to exercise twice a day into the gym, and it's a routine. A routine is a habit. So if I don't feel good, I don't even question that. It's a routine. I go to the gym. So that's how we need to gain this way in life. So through the writing, through the daily routine that we establish, starting with whatever it is and slowly changing it over time, adapting it.
Yeah. There's a lot. Like if somebody's doing that, I like you say that and it's like, okay, now they're aware of what they want to change. And they're not just saying like, I'm going to stop tomorrow. Like, I'm not going to eat any sugar tomorrow. Like, that's a recipe for failure for most people. Like, I remember one of my patients who's an addiction specialist says they kind of do that to help people quit smoking, where they're like, they make them aware of what smoking is doing for them. But then they start kind of like hey, you don't have to quit tomorrow, but instead of smoking 10 cigarettes, I want you to smoke 7. And then I want you to smoke 5. And he was like, usually at the end of a few months, like we're like, smoke 2 cigarettes a day. And they're like, I don't want to. And he was like, I know that. Like, that's what we've been working for.
Yeah. The other way is,
there
are many ways to approach excess or, doing something that's too much. My way was eating apples. And when I started eating apples, I could eat 10 or 20 apples. So, I had to start dealing with it because I was getting dizzy out of eating too many apples. And I decided that I will set up the time for eating an apple. And it was 30 minutes. 30, I could eat 10 apples. That, I'm fast. I eat. I ate half of the apple within like 5 minutes. And then I started scraping my against the apple and making these different ways of holding to the apple, the one of the piece of the 30 minutes. But when I went through it, I was okay with one apple. It reminds me, the marshmallow study at Stanford with kids that they were 4-year-olds and sat in front of the marshmallow and asked for 15 minutes to wait. And if they did, they would get another marshmallow. So that was interesting to see for researchers how kids deal with the 15 minutes. Some of them pull their hair, some of them in different places, and some of them just grab right away and ate it. Some of them just waited 14 minutes and then gave up in then. So it means that there's the whole spectrum of immediate gratification and delayed gratification. And we are all inside of it. And how we actually deal with the immediate gratification is a skill. It's a slow process of calming ourselves down, looking at different places and so on. But the researchers, these people, 20 years after, and they found out that those who really were able to wait, they had usually the life that was good from many perspectives. The money was there, the children were there, all good, no crime, no problem. But those who really couldn't wait, they had difficulties.
Yeah.
So they had problems. So it's this resistance first in us. It's the physical of genetical nature that some of us, they have a strong immediate gratification. And some of us, they don't have it at all. They can wait and they don't have a problem genetically. So from that perspective, those who really are like me, I am like instant really gratification. I love that kind of life. And that's what alcoholism came. But I could be a great Formula One driver, right? Mm-hmm. That's what the instant and constant, right?
Yep.
So there is a of dealing with the instant gratification. First of all, is meditation. Engaging in some thing that we could get lost there. Eating an apple in 30 minutes or creating the routine. All of it can help us to delay gratification. And if we can learn delay gratification, it's a blessing. It's a great thing.
You mentioned you often, I know in a number of your books and stuff, you talk about the master versus the fatalist. I feel like this fits right here. I was going to talk to you about it.
Oh, yes, that definitely fits.
Can those archetypes and kind of the life of most of us trying to are maybe position in those?
Yeah, it's that's right from
Right.
really the fatalist 100% and the master 100%. So why it came to my life is like I watch clients and 10, 12 clients a day for years. And one thing that struck me is that I started realizing that they have voices. And it's like almost like they talk to me from fatalistic point of view, then talk about something else, and they are master in that language. So I started seeing that there is in every one of us this fatalistic language or master language. So I started pondering on it, and then came out with the idea of voices. I mean, I'm a poet, so I'm sensitive to language, and maybe that's why I really strike on it. So I started creating the language of a 100% fatalist. Since I was an alcoholic and suicidal, that is the language. And that could be the experience also really brought me into it. Then I tried to write a sentence of a fatalist that is 75% and master 25%. And what is the dialogue between these two? And then went into 50-50, another level of the dance between the fatalist and the master. And then there is a 75% master and a 100% master. So I have the scenarios for kind of dialogue between to gain this awareness in us that we have the language of the fatalist, the language of the master, and how to build that, master that, outwits the fatalist. The whole purpose is in the scenarios is to experience writing, become aware of the language of the fatalist, and go into the next level, how to outsmart the fatalist eventually, because the fatalist is strong, it's powerful, it wants its way. So it's not really easy to do that. But when the fatalist is talking to us, we have the chance to talk back and then develop the dialogue. And once the dialogue is there, we can have the possibility to outsmart, outwit the fatalist. And then when we do, we become 51% of the master and 49% of the fatalist. And we are this, this thing right together. And then we can build 52, 53, and become more and more this calm human being that is emotionally intelligent. And it's easy for that person to resist any wrongdoing or, to have resilience to do certain things or discipline what is value in life and pursue it.
Can you give us kind of like maybe or an example of what someone who, I mean, you can pick a topic, maybe they're dealing with like health or weight loss or something. What like the sounds is what the master's like. Can you kind of give us those two ends of the coin?
Well, we can go into the book, right? Oh,
Yeah.
hold on. Something happened. I lost you. So the book has those scenarios. So I can ask you about the scenario that you like. And so I outline 12 scenarios in it, right? And scenarios are that you can choose it. I can read to you. The scale, breakfast, lunch, at the doctor's office, in the grocery store, the last 10 pounds, tasting food, preparing dinner, all you can eat, after dinner, the movie theater, middle of the night, hunger. All right, so you can choose one scenario, and then I will go into this how the fatalist is talking.
Let's do the last 10.
The last one?
The pounds.
Oh, the last 10 pounds. Okay, 97. All right. So here is the That's scenario 6. Jenny's chart that shows no weight loss during the past 2 years, even though she tried everything to achieve her goal. Now is the fatalist is talking. You just don't get it. Weighing the same as when you were a teen isn't natural. It isn't. You're like Sisyphus, who tries to lose the last 10 pounds that can never be lost. Just enjoy being the way you are. Life is short. There is no time for heroes. So you can see devastating way. This is it. Nothing can be done. Done. Go for it, right?
Right.
So the next level is, so it's the same. The person hears the same story, and the master is 25% response to that. I agree that life is short, but I also worry that I can make it shorter. Maybe we didn't find the right way. It shouldn't be so difficult to lose some weight. Right to that, the fatalist 75% response. We spent 2 years trying, and I don't want to live in a dream anymore. There is nothing wrong with being a little plump. Master comes back. It's really not only about health. I'm still young and I don't want to live just a mediocre life. Okay. But it's very nice, it's kind of master is weak and is really probing, but the fatalist is shutting down everything now. You'll get used to being ordinary. Everybody does. All right, now we go into this even battle between the 50 and 50%, right? So now, if you heard the fatalist, the master, you want me to be Sisyphus and you do everything to make sure I am. As soon as I lose 3 pounds, you tell me to reward myself. I don't know how I will become conscious enough to stop eating more than I need, but I'm sure I will one day. The fatalist been saying this for years. Be honest with yourself. How many times have you used, fear or fantasy to make promises to yourself? Didn't you fly to Hawaii to learn another special and magical program to become thin? I feel really sorry for you. So we can see that this is a really even language between, right? They really talk to each other. Now the master. But I know people who were able to achieve it, as I know I can do it too. I know it's hard, but what is the use of being what is easy? Any monkey can do that. I want to live a youthful life, and if it is years to create it, that's what I will do. I don't want to waste the years I have to live anymore. Okay, the fatalist is coming back. All these people who talk about depend on being thin and they have strong motivations, they are actors, models, personal trainers. It's their job. Did you forget that you are just a housewife with 3 kids? Okay, the master come back. So it's even more important for me to gain control over my emotions so my children learn that unnecessary suffering is the product of a weak mind, but we have a choice. Fatalist comes back. Well, so far you are fake, living a life that someday maybe will happen. Okay? Master comes back. I guess you don't get it that because our past wants us to stay the same. For a while, we have to pretend we are already who we want to be. So now you've become a philosopher trying to convince yourself that pursuing the impossible makes it possible. What a joke. Okay, master comes back. Your fatalist attitude only makes me stronger. You will be surprised this year. I can't wait. Master said, me too. So then the master voice, right? That is 75%, is a different way of a different person. It's amazing how this journey teaches me how little food I really need to live a great life. I will never spend less money that last year if I know for the last 10 years how little food I really needed. I could have bought a new fatalist. Too little food can be fatal. So I would eat a little more in case you miss some nutrition. I don't know how to worry about that. After all, I'm still carrying a lot of fat on myself. Well, it isn't about the number of calories. The food that is produced today isn't as nutritious. So it's a really nutritious thing about. So it is used to be. So we eat more food to get enough nutrition. So you see, the fatalism uses nutrition. And Master, don't worry. I guess you forget that I eat lots of vegetables, fruits, fish, and meat. I'm sure that this powerful the nutrients I need, especially since they are organic. I don't want you to get sick. I will better to be safe than worry. I can always add more vegetables. That was the response of the master. And he is the voice of 100% master.
Okay.
My intuition deceived me again. My past is too strong to depend on it for change. Starting today, I will only trust the numbers. I will eat every 3 hours, 5 times a day, and if I don't lose a pound a week, I will eat less. Math is a great helper when nothing else works.
The big thing I hear from that is like, and I feel there's some reflection that has to happen. It's like, the fatalist, different levels of excuses every time. There's always I don't have control. Like there's this external locus of control in the fatalist where it's like, this has happened. I can't, what I do doesn't matter. It's not going to change it. And the deeper we get into kind of master level words, the more internal control we have. And some of it's like the change is inevitable. It's just how long and what path do I have to take to get there? Did I miss anything in there?
No, the book ends up also on scenarios that you practice. So at the end, there is this outline of the levels, and you actually learn how to write those levels of fatalists and the master. Eventually, when you practice this, you become you become the person that is able to speak these different, levels of fatalist or the master. It's an amazing thing because when you recognize it, you're able to deal with it. It's like a poem brings the emotions to the surface. And when it happens, when you learn that you have those voices, when you learn how strong they are, you can see in other people that. And that's magical. When you talk to people, you hear, oh, that's the strong fatalist, 75%. Or that's really fatalist, 100% fatalist. And you can recognize that when you engage with a person, 100% fatalist, person needs help, and you have to do something about that. And if you engage with a master, right, you find a really extremely positive voice, you want to be around that person all the time. But being conscious about developing all this, having all strength of voices, brings us awareness. And once we have awareness, we are capable to actually act to help, act to, help ourselves to be around masters.
Yeah, I agree 1,000%. I got asked at a conference one time what the difference between my patients who got better and the ones who kind of ended up having persistent pain was. And it caught me off guard. They didn't give me that ahead of time, but I came up with an answer on the spot. And then when I got to my office, I was like, you know what? Actually, I want to pull all my patients and I want to look at all the different characteristics and kind of create a rubric around what things were healthier going in. Did they weigh less? Did they exercise? Did they eat better? And after pulling all of that stuff together, what I found, my answer was mindset. I had patients who were, didn't have the best foundations of health and they still got better. I had patients that were really healthy going in and they didn't get better as fast as we thought. And when I really dug into it, it was exactly that. It was like the ones who got better had this master mindset. They were kind of like, this is going to get better. I don't know how long it's going to take, and I don't know what I'm going to have to do, but I'm just going to keep going down this path until I get there. And there was another side of the coin where I had people who were very healthy and you were like, they should heal. They have the ability, their body can do it. And yet it was like everything, there was kind of an excuse and there was a problem. And like, I'm so mad this happened to me and I can't do anything. And it was like, those people didn't get better nearly as much as the other group. And it really caught me off guard. That's been a few years, and it's something that we try and talk about more with our patients, because I'm like, look, this was the biggest attribute that decided if people were going to heal really well, even over the severity of injury or any of that type of stuff.
Yeah, so the book like that can really help a lot, because it brings awareness to us. That's why I wrote 3 books of these scenarios around the food, the exercise, and the rest. And you're right, it's a mindset. I can make myself miserable in a second. I can say, I'm too old, I'm 71 years old, life ended, I will die soon, right? I can have this language. There's nothing left for me, and nobody wants me, and on and on and on, right?
Yeah.
Or I can choose different ways, right? That I have beautiful family. Now my daughter is, 21 years old and teaches me art, and it's just amazing artist. I'm married for 47 years, and with my wife we created this beautiful relationship. I can be fatalist, that I'm stuck in the marriage that for 47 years. What's wrong with me? So, it's really up to me. At every moment, I can make myself miserable or I can make myself happy. It's really up to me. It's my mindset. And right, how we can teach people to choose their voice, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I wrote 3 books about that, to really help with not only being aware, but also practicing and eventually understand that we choose.
Yeah.
We to be happy. There is no of happiness. We choose to be
It's a
happy,
choose.
or we choose to be miserable.
Right. Jerzy, let's talk about kind of training. Let's talk about the body for a bit. And we've got I think the about mine first, because it matters. You've had so many different lives. You've coached athletes, you've coached Olympians, and then on the other end, like elderly and people with disabilities. What is your kind of framework that you use when you're working with someone to kind of restore movement, to restore a happy body? What is a framework that you look at that through?
I look through the first.
Okay.
So I engage the happy body, the system. And during the engaging, I find limitations, flexibility limitations. Usually these flexibility limitations show also the immobility, and they show problems can be the problems with, the joints and whatever is there. But first, I have to establish how flexible the person is. Once I get there, is there pain or is not the pain? If there is a pain, then I try to find out how to do the exercise that without the pain or the pain begins. So there are, many ways to decide the movement, and that movement, particular movement, and how to limit everything. Let's say the first exercise is standing tall. So you move the arms and lift and stretch, right? If the person moves the arms up and the pain is already in the shoulders, right? So I develop the limitation of the movement, and that limitation of the movement I practice. So go only to the pain, set up where it is. Let's say the person can lift here, the arms are around the shoulders level, and a little bit more pain. Okay. So then I tell my client, you go up, touch the pain, and back up. Don't work, and keep doing the fist to be on the shoulder level. So after a while, that level gets adjusted, and there is no pain anymore on that level. So now I tell, okay, when you lift to the level. And is there pain? Oh yeah, there is a pain. It's okay. So you work for 2 weeks. And after 2 weeks, is there pain? Yeah, it's still, but maybe 1 or 2. Okay, so keep working on it. So after another 2 weeks, there is a pain? No. Okay, we go to the eye level. And then on and on. There is a restoration of rehabilitation of this is one of the things. The same with the squat. When we go down, we can go to 18 inches, 20 inches. But, I start sometimes with people that they go full squat and they have it, or 23 inches, right? They cannot go deeper because they are really extremely stiff or in pain. So I start there and then work down. During the process of actually dealing with pain and limitations, it can be also building the strength already. So there's another factor making things harder. You either make it by more weight or more flexibility. Usually I decide about to push one and not two, because then I know which one caused the problem. So 1 week I will increase the weight, and 1 week I increase the levels. Let's say the person goes with 3 pounds to the shoulder level, and then there is little pain, and the person has 3 pounds. So I say, okay, take the 5 pounds and go another week like that. So build up the strength is a healer. Healer is not flexibility. Is the building the strength is the healer. So if you make strong shoulder, you can heal it. The difficulty is that the flexibility is needed for it.
Yeah.
So if you are not flexible, then you will not be able to build the strength. So because the pains and problem. So there is another level, the speed, how fast we are, and that is the last level, that nervous system is engaged. So we can be strong, but very slow. So it is important in life that our nervous system is fast. So this nervous system is, you're a doctor, so you know what the delay reflexes are. And when we age, the system is too slow, and we trip on something, and we cannot save ourselves, and we crash. So that's not for young people. That happens with old people. And awareness of that and speed of the system has to be really quick in order not to crash. Sometimes, we have a dog and we have a small ball. And sometimes at night, I go and I step on the ball, right? But my system is very fast. I'm sensing in a split of the second that I know what is happening. I step on a ball and I stop there. I'm not sliding. So because the system is fast, so training speed is extremely important because that is the one that keeps us fast. It's like all athletes want to be fast. Eventually, the speed wins,
Yeah.
right? You develop the strength, but the speed really wins. How fast we run 40 yards decides whether we go to NFL or not. So it's the speed. How fast pole vaulter runs determines how far it flies. But that's nervous system, muscle, flexibility, mobility, agility, all of it in one place.
Yeah, I feel like the average person probably knows to do flexibility. And then I think depending on body part, they know that like we need the strength back to kind of go through it. But I don't think the average person ever thinks about the power or the speed component. Not very often anyway. Unless they're like, hey, I need to, I want to go skiing again or something. I feel like a lot of people probably get to that strength component and then they follow their training for that. They kind of stop right there.
Yeah, here is the if they don't, we need to we own them the explanation. It means we need to bring them why. And you're right. Usually people know the strength. The strength is important, but the strength is extremely difficult to gain, especially for people that they are older, because our nature works against us. It's a sarcopenia happens, and all these things happen to us already. All athletes after 35 deteriorate. They become slower.
Mhm.
So when you go to power lifters, Olympic weightlifters, and let's say sprinters or swimmers, you see the same thing.
Yeah.
Every 5 years, 2% deterioration. So, and of course, the life of a world champion, let's say like me, 71-year-old, and that level of the power is huge still. Like people in 20s cannot do what I do still when I'm 71 years old.
Right.
So when people come to my place and when they are 70-year-olds and they find out that we are the same age, it's like crazy for them. It's like, how you can be that way, right? Well, the one thing that there is a way and there is practice and there is plan for that. There is strategies for, and it's fantastic. It's beautiful. It's fun. What is going on with people that they think it's like it's too or it's are you crazy? The pursuit of a sprinter when the sprinter is 8 years old, he's having fun. They are having fun there. It's not really they are miserable. No, they are not miserable. They are really living the experience of life, and they love what they do. I went to Masters Olympics Melbourne. It was 2002, and it was a sprinter, 102 years, and gave the speech. Wow, when I look at that person, I was just thinking, wow, I want to be 102 and be like that. That was amazing. These people are giving us the role modeling that it's so inspiring, so motivational. That's just beyond. I really loved it. Then I went to competition. I saw 80-year-old lifting weights, and he was stronger than any 20-year-old can be without training. And that was crazy. That's why I set up the all strength and speed levels from that lifter, 80-year-old. I thought, if people can reach 80-year-old level of the world champion, that's fair when they are 30 and 40 years old. And that's a really great life. So that's about the weights and necessity for it. And the one thing is that coaches the training fun, or they should really find it. I remember there was this wrestler who said that he was in Europe and then coaches were finding always this way of having fun with training. And he said that he was here somewhere in US and it was like numbers and numbers only and that no fun at all. So, okay. So it has to be fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it's not fun, why to do it? How to do it that we enjoy it has to be answered to, because people want to have fun, want to have delayed gratification, want to train and want to ski and surf, want to, but it has to be also fun.
What does your week of training look like these days, Jerzy?
I train every day. So I do Olympic weightlifting training around 11 a.m. So with Anila, we go to the gym and do about 3 minutes of it. And in the evening, I do the happy body. So the happy body for me is like internal massage. I go through the system. It's a detector for me. If something happened, there's something accumulated because I know my body through doing thousands of times the same thing. So I know how my body feels. I know how my body moves, whether anything is limited or not, whether the pain is there or not. So I know all of it. So after training, sometimes I do the happy body, I feel the pain in the hip, or I feel tension in the shoulders, or in the neck, or in the knee. And then I can release that. So the happy body helps me to release all these things that come. They could get worse, but they don't have a chances because every day I go into the system and do it. It's like you would play piano and you will find out that one finger, something is not working properly. And then you would find out that you have a bite there or something. And that is why.
Yeah.
So the two trainings that we do every day.
What does Olympic weightlifting look like for you now? Like, are you splitting that up by day? Are you hitting different lifts each day? Are you doing kind of push pull? And share with the kind of what weights and talking about?
Oh yeah, the different days, the different lifting. The happy body is every day the same.
Yeah.
So this is like playing the same music.
Mm-hmm.
And the weightlifting is varies. So one day snatch, one day clean, one day jerk, one day squats, overhead squat, press, all these exercises. And we changed. We over time. So after about 2-3 months, we shift a little bit different way of training. Repetition change too. The weight change, the weighting change, the time, all of it to stimulate the nervous system to be able to stay where we are, because we fight the aging and we fight the numbers that where the world level is, right? So we know and we are aware of it. All these number people or number athletes, they know their numbers. They know how far they are from the world level. For them, it's very clear how good they are. For athletes like wrestlers, boxers, where the numbers are not there, or games, they face other people.
Mm-hmm.
In Olympic weightlifting, you face yourself. Swimming, you face yourself, your numbers. In running or pole vaulting and in jumping, you face yourself numbers. And it's very clear for you whether how you deteriorate, you get worse. And so this for us is the joy of life. When we get that, when we travel, we go to the gym and we do snatches, light snatches, and just right away, we feel better. I tell people to snatch with a towel when they go to I say, well, before you open the door, stand about what you're going to do. You open the door, you either do the happy body, you put the towel and you start the happy body. Or you take the towel and you do snatches, 20 snatches every, is what you choose. But after 5 minutes, you can switch on TV. It will not drain you because you are already in the system, already recovering from. And as you start moving, the movement is the joy, the pleasure. And once you really get there and you start recovering your mind, tired, because of traveling.
What so for everybody listening, like definitely check out the Happy Body. It's kind of what would be like elevator pitch to what the Happy Body is? You called it kind of like a massage. It's a series of movements that like trains your body to do what a human body is supposed to be able to do, is my kind of explanation of it.
Well, for me recently, I call it athletic lifestyle medicine. So, why medicine? Because it can heal. It can help people to heal problems, difficulties. It can make people stronger, release the pain, rehabilitate. So that's a healing. And it's a lifestyle. Yes, it's not really, Olympics. It's a lifestyle. And lifestyle that works with usually chronic problems, chronic, way that lifestyle, chronic that our lifestyle brings on us, difficulties, and we get weaker, slower, or we get bigger and or not enough, and so on. So then why athletic? Athletic is a hard choice. Athletic is the 10%. There's the compound interest. So athletic means that you will get you. So then you engage plans, strategies, tactics, and take ownership of that thing. You get you are the coach. You become the self, master coach, and then you coach yourself, and then you learn all of it, how to improve, and the improvement is the 10%. That's the compound interest.
Yeah.
Engagement.
When you were coming up with the Happy Body, was that something that you trying to do that, where it's like, I want this to be a whole body kind of exercise and assessment at the same time? Like, was that at all on your mind?
It was very intuitive. For about 10, 15 years when we came to US, we coached, we were personal trainers, but we were following certain way because of Olympic weightlifting. So Olympic weightlifting was really big influence how the Happy Body was created. But we were very successful from the beginning, how we coach people, and we were able to, Anila and we were able to heal people, make them stronger, faster, and whatever they wanted, more energy, or, look younger, lose weight, release the pain, whatever they really wanted, it really didn't matter. What really mattered is to follow those 6 things that we outlined. And then we were always following unconsciously. There was like, we're dealing with flexibility, we're dealing with the strength, the speed, posture, ideal body weight, and leanness, how lean supposed to be. And once we were following those things, people were getting better. It really doesn't matter what the problem was, but they were getting better. After about 15 years of it, we thought about, okay, people were telling us we should write this down, give it to people so they could actually benefit from. But we had a problem how to write it. So we hired somebody, and that person wrote us the thing, and it was horrible. Angela said, "Oh, that's really bad." I said, "Yeah, it's pretty bad." Okay, we hired another one. It was the same thing. So then I said, "Okay, we need to become writers because nobody is going to write for us this thing. It's really hard. It's not that they are not good writers. It's this inside of us, something is there that is really hard to come up." So we went to Vermont and we studied MFA in creative writing. We focused on poetry. And after 2 years, we graduated, went back to writing the Happy Body book, and took some years. And then we said, it's not really working properly. So we hired editors, and we worked with editors for about 5 years to really get the writing of the Happy Body, right? Of the book.
Yeah.
But every level was really grinding. And why we created the book the way that we created, because we wanted to the why we are doing what we are doing, and the stories and the philosophy of it include inside. So it is not a textbook. It's not only the plan, but also why we are doing the plan, and eventually hired a graphic designer. There was a big step, and the graphic designer received our uh, pictures of the exercises and that were not good, and he said, "Wow, we need to really." So we did that, and then the pictures of food was not good. He said, "Well, you need to hire." So everything was like $30,000, $30,000, $30,000. So I spent $250,000 on the book. It's just like, wow, that's really incredible. But you know, from perspective, of doing it, we were driving. We had an editor in Berkeley, and we were driving south to every Friday. We were there, and driving was more than 1 hour, and we spent 2-3 hours there. And we were driving back and look at the San Francisco homes, and they say one day somebody who really needs the happy body will buy the book and will do the exercise program there, and will find out what their ideal body weight is supposed to be to really create this good life for themselves. Isn't it really beautiful? Isn't it really something? And I said, yeah, it will happen one day. And we had her behind. She was maybe 3 years old, and we were going with her all the time. It was just an amazing experience. You see, like the journey of creating the happy body, actually writing it was a journey. It was a probably 10 years journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that is y'all's own hard choice. Like, it would have been so easy to stop doing it 100%. You make me feel a little bit better. I'm on the end of my 5th year of finishing my book, and I'm on like the last editing stage. It'll be out next year. So
Bravo.
hearing your, I'm like, I'm there. I know exactly some of that feels like a little too right now.
Well, that's good
that
that you, yeah,
Go
good
ahead.
that you deal with the hard choices, because you could easily ask AI to write it for you.
Luckily,
Right?
I humans that we will have such a strong filter for AI. Like, we know what ads look like now. Now, I had already been working on this book for like 3.5 years before AI came out, but I was telling somebody that the other day. I was like, I still have yet to find like AI writing that I'm like, oh, that's really compelling. I think we feel the intention and emotion behind writing more than we realize. And AI can't give us that. That's just that's my
Well,
hope. But I
yeah,
had
I
to
am
ask
like
you about poetry, Jerzy, because there's
Oh,
very few people who have dedicated their life to health and weightlifting and fitness and achieved all the things that you have achieved, and they describe themselves as a poet. How did poetry enter your life? How does it relate to like your healing in these days?
so you know that, well, the beginning of how I began writing poetry was interesting, because I was 27 and I was in Warsaw, and I was in the fire protection engineering, finishing my engineering, and then 1981, Solidarity was in a peak, and government tried to crash it. So in order to crash, they tried to use the fire department against demonstrations, and we said no. I was one of the leaders in Warsaw, and after that, but 10 days after, they crashed it. They took us out. 400 firemen out of the academy. And after that, we could go back, but we have to sign allegiance to the new school, and didn't sign. I was underground for 4 years. And you see, when you lose everything, you gain everything. So it's not like when you really lose everything that you left alone. It's not true. It's that when you lose everything, you also are with people who also lost everything, and these are you gain to be actually with these people. So,
That's the most poet answer to that I've ever heard.
well, so I know Jerzy Popiełuszko, became his friend, and then Severin Jaworski, all these people that were extraordinary human beings. Professor Weihert from MIT, from Warsaw, and these people came into my life, and I would never really even brush myself against this. My view of life, of the people that were kind and nice, is that they pretended always. So they pretended they love people. They pretended because it was convenience for them. So I had this way of life. I was scientist, I was engineer, and that's what I was thinking. And when I was with people who had unconditional love, it was shocking for me. I couldn't find myself in life anymore. In my life, the other life. It was true. There are people who love people. And well, it gives me goosebumps right now. So
Yeah.
I experienced, I lost everything and I gained everything, right? I experienced unconditional love. I saw it, experienced it. When Jerzy was captured and tortured and murdered in 84, the also situation was coming close to me. So I left. I went to Sweden. And in Sweden, I went to Stockholm, and there was Solidarity, of course, Solidarity members, the club, and they went with separations, strikes, hunger strikes, and all of it. And I started seeing people there. They were coming to me, and I was talking to me. And the people found out that I actually was helpful. So, okay, so people were coming, and I was talking, and they were getting better for some reason. But there was no psychologist or therapist and so on. But I had this experience that was passed on me from, the people that I was engaged and experienced. And that was enough to really make a difference to people. So there was one psychologist who, she said, I will open the clinic in Stockholm. You will do whatever you do because I don't know what you do, but it works. It helps people. And I will maybe learn this from you. And I said, but I'm not staying here. And she said, well, where are you going? I'm America. I'm going. And so she said, okay, so if you go, you have to write, because whatever you do has to be written, because people have to benefit from it. Okay, I said, so, but I've never written anything, like, in a way. She said, well, go home, take a page. All right. I said, okay. So I went home, I took a page, a pen, and then magic happens. Whatever I wrote, it was not normal writing. It was a poem. I wrote in poems, and I couldn't write normal way. It was so intense, I guess, emotional, intense, whatever it was showing itself on a page as a poem. So my journey of poetry began. So it brings us to the moment you said, okay, I'm dealing with my clients here. I'm meeting them every day. I'm dealing with the suffering clients, that they suffer because they cannot do what they need to do in order to create the good life for themselves. And that I'm watching it. And that is 4 years I'm watching it, and I'm writing the poems about it. I look at the poetry at that point that if there is suffering, there is a poem as a poet. So after about 4 years, I wrote about 60 poems, put into the book of Food for Your Soul. That is the book.
Mm-hmm.
And that I started writing the dialogues books, Master and Fatalist. It brought me to awareness after writing about 5 years to voices, that experiencing poetry voices as well. And I started really approaching the problem of fatalist and the master, and this view levels of language. That was a thing that I engaged, and I was doing this for about 4 or 5 years to write these 36 scenarios, these 3 books. So poetry, suffering, and poetry, different scenarios, different things. So there is a poem for anything almost, but poems are really powerful. Why they work? Because they talk to emotions, and usually emotions that they are deep inside of us, and it's really hard for us to deal with them. It's either shame blocks them, or fear, whatever it is, and it doesn't want to come to the surface. But when it comes, the poem helps to bring it.
Yeah.
And the poem also helps to talk about it, right? To talk to yourself. So it can be a major shift because of the poem in a person. And if you want, I can read you a poem.
I would love you to read a poem. I would love for that. While you get that ready, I was gonna say I've read your. I guess it's like a little thing you put out, like when you feel overwhelmed, that has like maybe 11 of your favorite poems.
Oh yes,
or
yeah,
something
yeah.
like that.
You have this.
I've read that in the past, but if you have a poem, we'd love to hear it.
So I'll give you a little bit of the story, but I like that story. I teach a class, the Happy Body class in San Francisco, and I drive about 40 minutes to my home south. And one day I teach the class, and there is this nurse, and she says, I cannot find time for exercise. And I said, so what do you do during the day? I have 2 jobs, and I do this, that, and there is no time. So I'm thinking, okay, but I'm not giving up. I'm driving and I'm thinking about this. I said, it's devastating that a person cannot find 30 minutes to actually do something that could help the person to get better over time. It doesn't have sense to me. So I come to the house. I go to meditation room, spend about 4 hours there, and write a poem. I go back next week to San Francisco, read a poem, and people talk about it. But when it comes to this woman, she says something, and it's really profound. So I will read first the poem, and then I will tell you what happened there. The title of the poem is Who Cannot? Who cannot? When I wake up, I walk to the kitchen, and every morning there is still food on my face. How can I stop myself? His coach thought for a moment and then told him, think about all those people who stopped themselves from owning and killing and having fun because they finally saw how others suffered. Without them, we would still have slaves, the Holocaust, and a world just for men. Becoming a man like that is your only chance, because there is no one else to force you. Don't you expect too much from me? Do you really believe I can be a man like that? Who cannot?
I love it. Thank you for doing that, Jerzy. That's awesome.
Yes, you're welcome. So I go back to San Francisco, read the poem, and people start really talking about how they were affected because of the poem. And the nurse says, the poem helped me to see that I watch movies and TV shows at night. And when I do that, my kids are asking for something, and I tell them, I cannot do that, I cannot do that, I cannot do that. And she said, I was not aware of that at all. I was not aware that I was compromising my time. Instead of being with my kids, I had so little time being with them. I was tired and I was watching TV, and I was detaching myself from my kids. And I said, and I will never tell my child I cannot.
Man, yeah,
I
that's
will
power.
say differently, but not that way.
Yeah.
So
That's so good, Jerzy. Man, thank you. This has been fantastic. As I said when we started, I wrote down my conversation years and years ago that me and you would get the chance to do this, and it certainly lived up to it. I really information you put out in the world, the stuff you do, the care that y'all give to people truly like comes through everything that you do, that it's authentic, it's real. You want to help people, and that drives everything. At least like I think we feel that whenever we consume some of your stuff and hear it. So I again appreciate everything that y'all do. Where can people find you? Where can they get into your world? Where can people follow you? Where can people work with you? All of that stuff, Jerzy.
well, the best is thehappybody.com. So that's where I put everything what people would need. There is the book, there's videos, other books. And I decided about something new. I decided that I'm going to do the happy body every day, and people will be able to do it with me. So the most complaint from people was that it's hard for them to follow, and it's hard for them to know whether it's right or not. And develop the habit takes time. So as January 5th, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to do the happy body, and people can do with me. It's just practice only. And people who need somebody to go and move, somebody with the pleasure and joy and the fun, they can do that. People who think about that they are lonely, they can do that. People who think that they maybe don't move the right way, they can do that. So I'm going to have fun. And I found finally the way to walk to the gym and actually do that. Our brain is really something. Why I didn't do it 10 years ago, right? Well, I'm doing this January 5th. It's like we constantly grow in life, and we come to these obstacles, mindset obstacles that we didn't think about doing something. It would be great if we did, but we were not that same person. So we have to really grow up to that person that to decide to do certain things. And I am more growing now into this place in my mind of finding this happy body people where they are and helping them in ways that can do. I didn't. That was not my focus. I thought that the book is there. It should be independence and so on. But I see that this kind of mentorship is needed, and people are there, and people need me. And I finally grew up to that.
Do people need to sign up for that, Jerzy? Is there somewhere that they need to sign up to get that?
Yeah, there will be a drop-in daily class, $9 subscription for a month, $45, and they can be with me every day.
I love it. And that'll be on the Happy Body. They can find that on thehappybody.com.
That would be on, yes, they can find there. I use the Kajabi, the platform, to do that, but it will be on Zoom. And once they get into the page, they will get link on the Zoom and be with me.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, y'all check that out. If y'all are talking about like getting new year, new you, I can't be better to start working through better movement, better mentality than with Jerzy.
Yeah, the happy body will be like playing music, like
Yes.
Chopin. You get ready for competition in Warsaw. So this is the happy body with me, and then you get competition in carrying grocery and having fun with your kids or whatever it is you are preparing for it.
Jerzy, thank you again, man. I can't thank you enough. This has been fantastic.
Thank you, Derrick. I appreciate also what you do. I have to say that you expose a lot of struggles with your patients and that you care for them. And I feel that you care for people. You are the doctor that really cares. And you also know that there is a bigger, wider spectrum of help that needs to be engaged. So this integrative medicine is really happening, and we are in the PhD now program with integrative medicine, and it's really good to see people like it's really I feel better. You are there. I think that you make the world about.
Thank you. That's my purpose, man. That's my purpose. So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Love it. Thanks, Jerzy.
Thank you there.